When your biggest fan is the crazed killer, that's just a part of making it, right? Tonight in movie reviews, I'm talking Stalker Jane. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, scary movie people? I appreciate you tuning in for this show and for another brand new review. I've mentioned that this year I really want to get more into indie horror. I've had a chance to see a few really great films these last few years, and I want to increase that output tenfold here in 2026. So tonight, I am taking a look at yet another independent horror film I got a chance to check out thanks to my friends over at the Echo Cell Collective and Cranked Up TV. Tonight in movie reviews, I am talking Stalker Jane. Now, of course, when we jump into things there, folks, make sure to hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Got a lot of great horror content on the channel right now, and it is movies week. So got a lot of really fun stuff coming up for you this week as well, too, including my interview with Tales from the Crypt actress Sherry Rose that I do not want you to miss. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button wherever you're tuning in for this review. A lot of good horror stuff coming up for all of you. But let's not waste any time. Let's jump right on into things here and get to talking about Stalker Jane. Now, Jane, a stalker, becomes involved with her band crush Demetri, a budding rock star for whom she does terrible things to ensure his rise to stardom. While Jane schemes to support the band with bloody and chaotic effect, the reality of the situation slowly dawns on Demetri. But is it too late? And there it is, y'all. That is Stalker Jane. Now, you have likely seen some kind of stalker thriller horror film at some point in your life that was driven very much off the performance of whoever's playing that stalker character. Could be Swim Fan, American Psycho 2, maybe it's May, Obsessed. There's a million of these kind of films out there, but nevertheless, they all tend to fall on the characterization of that stalker. You go too far off of the deep end, doesn't end up being that interesting of a film, because then it's hard to really disbelieve reality that the person being stalked would still put up with it and let this person continually come back into their life. And if you make it a little bit too timid, then unfortunately by the time we get that massive escalation towards the end, it's just not believable, because they went from 0 to 100 in the span of just a second without any signs to show for it. You gotta live somewhere in the middle. Think Fatal Attraction, right? Glenn Close, like you can already tell there's a screw loose there at the beginning, but as things get more and more and more depraved, you have no problem going up, escalating each level along with her. That's what you want in a perfect stalker film. And honestly, Stalker Jane might not be perfect, but it remembers that what it needs to do is strike that balance between believability of the stalker character and showing them at their most unhinged. Halo Kitsch, who plays Jane here, our stalker in this film, puts in a wonderful, wonderful performance, being a character that it's very easy to get behind when she's at her most depraved. She makes it fun. She makes it hilarious. It's actually really enjoyable to watch her in the midst of a lot of the kills that she carries out here through the film itself. But at the flip of that as well, too, it doesn't stop us from like getting behind Demetri and being like, dude, you're an idiot, man. This woman is absolutely unhinged. What are you not seeing about her behavior? Doesn't matter how much she's risen up you and the band and she's very subservient to you. None of that matters. You are missing some very vital signs that she is throwing out like crazy. But that's also the really good strength here of the film. It's not just in Halo Kitsch's performance as Jane, but Nigel Quinn, who plays Demetri, also puts in a really good performance as the young man that's found himself the center of Jane's affection and can't really seem to shake her off for one reason or another. You know, we see Demetri wrestling with somebody who's obsessed with him. It's a feeling that I'm sure he's just not all that used to. And the fact that this woman is very much not only giving him, you know, service for normal things like food and making sure everything on his appointments are all set and knows his schedule and everything, but the flip of that is she's actually giving out really good advice for the band as well, makes it hard to see those other less positive qualities popping out. And that's the really key thing about these kind of stalker films, is that Your stalker, again, has to have a really good hook to make it believable that the main character doesn't just immediately shoot them out of their life. And the fact that Jane really has good insights on Demetri's band Terribly Late, and it's stuff that's actually going to push them to the next level, it's hard to like just look at that and then immediately go back to, well, Jane's got to be crazy, because some of the stuff she's suggesting really does work out for the band. And their character even points that out, the fact that, yeah, like she's batshit, but it doesn't change the fact that it was good information and it really does help the band out. And I love that Roger Glenn Hill, our writer and director here, never forgets that he doesn't allow Jane to become too crazy, like just in the fact that she actually is off the deep end. Like she can be off the deep end, but it doesn't change the fact that at the same time, she's also still going to be spitting some truth out of this as well too. That balance is perfect to keep your audience invested in it, and it means that we can like Jane while at the same time she's doing the most despicable things. Now, what's not despicable in this film is the music. We get to hear music from the bands Terribly Late, Chemical Burn, Madame Marlowe, and the times when they are featured here, they sound fantastic. I'm a big fan of indie music, and so anytime an indie film lets that like particular stat shine, it usually means really, really good things for the film itself. To the point that, no offense to their composer, I actually found myself disappointed in a number of scenes to where we're watching the band perform, whether it's a practice or whether it's at some kind of performance, and they kill the band's music for the score instead. I got taken back a little bit by it because I was really enjoying the various music from the bands that were in here. It reminded me a little bit of one of the most previous VHS entries, to where I forget what band it was, but it was the ones who went down like to the sewers to go make the music video, and then they all get haunted and killed in that music video. I remember, I was like, damn, like these guys needed to make their own album. I would totally bump an entire album they put out. I kind of feel the same way about the music here in Stalker Jane as well too. Like if they put a soundtrack out for this, I would totally be bumping that on a regular basis.
Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about the horror side of everything, and there is a horror element to the movie for sure, but it feels very much understated. Like, don't get me wrong, Jane has a lot of kills, and they're bloody, they're brutal, they're shocking, but I don't know if scary is the word I would really utilize for any of them. I think her first kill is probably the most effective in the film, that it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and compared to the other ones that she carries out in the aftermath of what we see that she does with them, it kind of ties into like her brutality and effective nature. But I don't know if I would necessarily say the scares are present here in Stalker Jane.
Now, in terms of something I wasn't too big of a fan of, the long cuts in a number of these scenes. You know, there were a couple of scenes specifically involving Jane when she's hunting down the band Chemical Burn and she's watching the band Madame Marlowe perform, to where the editing, the cutting of it just seemed a bit long-winded, to where we could have taken like 30 to 45 seconds out of the scene in general and it wouldn't have lost its effectiveness at all, honestly. Especially because, like in the Madame Marlowe scene, it's a lot of Jane just admiring the lead singer and just staring on here and making it more and more creepy as like the background music continues to rise up, up, and up. That's already super effective in just a few shots because we've been following Jane around. We know how insane she is. We know exactly what she's thinking. And so that scene being as long as it was, especially counting in like the during credit stuff that we get to see as well too, just seemed a bit much, honestly, to get the point across. And same with her hunting down the band Chemical Burn as well. We know what's going on. We know the elaborate traps that she's setting up here to take this band out and everything. It just seemed like, even for the comedic aspect, it went a bit too long to actually keep it being as funny as it probably was intending to be. Just a few shots gets that point and that message across. A little bit longer like it was, and it very much loses the effectiveness of it. That being said, I had a really good time with this, honestly. Again, I think that Halo Kitsch and Nigel Quinn were a great pairing here on screen. I think Kitsch has a fantastic effectiveness here as a very creepy killer here in this one. But at the same time, though, this one does a good job of balancing the elements that you want to see work properly in a stalker thriller. So, Stalker Jane ultimately ends up getting a 4 out of 5 here. This is one that I would highly recommend going and checking out. It doesn't perfectly hit all the notes like it should, but at the same time, it's still effective and it's still engaging. Want to hear what y'all thought? If you get a chance, check this one out. Definitely let me know here in the comment section what you thought of Stalker Jane. And of course, make sure to get subscribed to my channel, as we have a lot of horror content up there right now for you to check out, and a lot of really good stuff coming up for you this week as well, including reviews for the new film Diabolic, which is in theaters right now. We're also going to be talking Scream 7, which is theaters later on this week as well. And we're also going to be talking The Mortuary Assistant. So, a lot of really fun stuff coming up here, y'all, but you got to get subscribed in order to stay on top of all of that. That is going to do it for me tonight here, folks. I appreciate you tuning in. My name is T. We're talking scary movies. Stay scared.